You don't need a fancy sewing room or all the tools in the craft store to sew like a pro. In fact, many tools are probably hidden in your kitchen drawers or are an easy delivery from Amazon. Today, I'm going to go over 14 affordable and surprising tools that will make your sewing easier and more fun. Let's dive in.
If your sewing machine tends to vibrate or shift while you're sewing, a simple rubber mat underneath it can keep it in place, and it really dampens the noise as well. So you can get something like this bath shower mat. You might have something like this already in your house, so you won't have to purchase it. But any sort of rubber mat, particularly that's a little thicker, so it'll prevent the machine from moving around a lot. Or you can get something that's particularly made for this. So here we have a mat specifically made for to put under your sewing machine. This one's even cheaper than the mat, but anything you have in your house that you could put underneath it really could help that. I know when I'm sewing really fast, my sewing machine starts moving around. I have to be careful what I have on the table because the things could slide off the table. So it is a little bit of an issue. And if you have some really thick pieces of fabric, like if you're working on denim or on leather, these binder clips that most of us have around our house already are great to hold together all of this without trying to pin. It's really great to particularly with leather, you wouldn't put holes in your leather thens with these kind of clips. So it's something that we can really reuse for sewing. Or you can get these clips that are intended for sewing. I don't have any right now, but I know a lot of people just love these clips, and they're very inexpensive. You get 100 of them for less than $7. So I think this is a really great thing if you're working with delicate fabrics or thick fabrics to use this instead of pins. So some people are not a big fan of the magnetic seam guides. So it's a good thing you could use some sort of tape, like painter's tape is great. Most of us have some painter's tape in our house. And you could put this on because then you can just align it exactly where you want it. Sometimes when I move my needle to the middle, then the seam guides that are in on the machine are no longer aligned. So you might want to add some tape to places that you like to sew. Or you might want to use washi tape. I have washi tape, which I love because it's pretty colors. It's also very inexpensive, $7. It's a little thinner, so you wouldn't have to trim it down. You could use different colors for different places on the machine. And because of these, both of these type of tapes have low tack, you won't have to worry about leaving behind a residue like you would if you put some normal tape on it. So chopsticks are a great use of, either turning through narrow tube or if you want to poke out your corners. I just did a video that I used these hacks and I really found I personally liked it for turning out my corners to really get in there and not chance going through the fabric. So a lot of us do have chopsticks at home that we can use that that we get extras from when we order Chinese food or Japanese food. So I really think it's great. Or you could get a particular tool that's meant for that. This one looks quite interesting because you can slip your fabric through and it will allow you to slip your fabric through here, and it allows you to pull this, a drawstring or elastic through a narrow section. So I think this is, also an excellent thing. It's only $7, very inexpensive, and I could see that it would help a lot with those difficult, threading things through a small channel. Now, instead of buying pricey pattern weights, which I find amazingly expensive, those, little filled with, pebbles or whatever, washers are a great way to, have some excellent weights to hold down your patterns. Very inexpensive. This pack of 100 is less than $6. I also created some of my own pattern weights based on fabric scraps and some rice or beans. It's another inexpensive way to do it. You can also leave these pattern weights just as they are, or you could take some of your scraps and wrap them up and glue them, hot glue them closed to make some really pretty designs as well. And we talked earlier about your sewing machine moving around a lot, but also my pedal when I'm sewing tends to I keep having to keep finding it as it's sliding across the floor. So adding some kind of this shelf liner would be a great way to keep that pedal in place. Often you might have something like this already in your home to make it easy. You can also do something like one of these silicone trivets. You can put that under your pedal as well, and that would keep it from moving. Or you can get this mat that is sold for this purpose, this sewing machine pedal mat. It's a little bit more expensive, but still quite reasonable, and you wouldn't have to worry, it'll fit your pedal exactly. So this is another choice of something to keep that pedal in place and prevent you from chasing it around the floor. I don't have a really great way to store my needles. I just sort of throw them in a bin and they get all twisted, and you have different types of needles. You have thicker ones and thinner ones. So I thought this pill organizer would be really a great way of putting your needles in here. You could put your really thin needles in one and thicker needles in the other. So I think a simple pill organizer keeps them sorted by size and type, and no more need to dig through random packs. You could also label it, the separate, so you know which one it is. If you want to, you could have ones for your universal, one for your stretch or denim, and I think it would be really great to put them all in this one place. I love this flexible curved ruler. It's ideal for measuring curved seams. It's just easy to adjust to any curve that you need. I did purchase this, and it is quite flexible. It's really great when you're working around necklines or armholes. So it holds its shape when it's bent, so you can just easily put it in place and then easily trace any curve that you need. I have a ribbon rack shown here that I use for all of my threads, but I can't find it anymore, anywhere online. I had bought it at Michael's many, many years ago. So I thought that a clever and inexpensive other option for holding your thread would be a spice rack like this. You can put all your thread, you can easily see it. You could mount it to the wall, or I just put mine on the floor against the wall because I like to I don't really like a lot of things on my wall. You can organize your spools of thread, your serger cones, things like that. I think would be, really great way so you're not just throwing all your thread in a drawer. I thought these heat-resistant protective finger guards would be a really great idea. I know when I'm trying to iron things, you have your fingers in there, you have a chance of getting them scorched. So these would really protect your fingers when pressing small seams or pleats or darts, so you're not burning your fingers. So I think these would be a really great tool, and they're very inexpensive. Sometimes threading a really small needle is very challenging. So this needle threader would be a game changer, and it has a little light on it. So it's really perfect for those with tired eyes and really tiny needles. It makes it much easier to see and thread, especially helpful if you are sewing in the evening and have, trouble seeing really small things. Some of us already have some of these thread nets. It typically comes with the serger. These thread nets really prevent slippery, unruly threads from unwinding and entangling. So it's just a great way to keep everything in control on your machine and when you have it stored away. Having a dedicated bobbin case helps keep your bobbins really neat and visible, and probably the most important is tangle free. I personally have this one. I love it. It's very small and compact. I can put a lot of bobbins in here. So it just makes it really easy for me to see my bobbins and to keep them stored away. And something I don't always think about using my pinking shears, you can use them to just reduce fraying, but I think what I need to remember more often is to use them around curves. So it's great for trimming the curved seam to reduce bulk, and I'm usually like, cutting out the individual V's takes so long, and so I'm definitely going to start implementing this, is to help to either grade my seams or to just reduce the bulk on my curved seams using the pinking shears.
If you want to learn more about which tools are gathering dust in my studio, check out this video here and let me know in the comments below which tools are your favorite. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.